Okay, it says that we're being live streamed. And as I shared with our teachers today, the Lillian McDermott radio show / classroom is being garbled with all these wonderful algorithms. So share and tag and tell all your friends, call, that we have such a hopeful class today. For those of you who are struggling today to trust in God, today is the day that you get to see how God works in mysterious ways. So let me hit the record button. Okay, so today we are going to be speaking with two beautiful ladies with a new life mission. We're going to talk about our journeys, and we're going to talk about how important it is to trust God. And so fasten your seatbelt, because we're going to learn and grow together. Okay, everybody, it's time to dance. It's time to get in the moment. Here we go.
The Lillian McDermott Show.
We love, we fear, bridges we burn, we make mistakes, then we live and learn. When life gets tough and it seems like your best ain't good enough, if you're in need of hope, you know where I'll be right here, right here. And when you need a friend, you can count on me. I'll be right here, waiting for you.
This is the place you can always turn to when you need a friend. The Lillian McDermott Show. To reach out to Lillian, visit her on the web at whenyouneedafriend.com. Now let's all learn together. Here's Lillian McDermott.
Hello, my listening and viewing friend. It's so nice we can meet each other on the air on this beautiful, best day ever. And for those of you who are tuning into the classroom for the first time, please know I've been waiting for you. This is a safe place where you can go to when you need a friend. It is my commitment to provide alternative ways to heal, and it is my mission to make awareness, responsibility, and truth a part of our everyday life. And I hope you, my listening, as well as my viewing friend, will feel empowered to embrace a new truth and live the life of your dreams. Now, I have to mention Stacia's name. Stacia Glavas never dreamed that her life would change and many other lives would change when she befriended someone who was a homeless mother. Since then, there is a beautiful organization that I want to share with you, because as you know, we don't always have to tithe with churches. We don't always have to generously give to our church. We can give to nonprofit organizations. We can give to the classroom. We can give to as many people as you want, because when you are blessed with a lot, you can give a lot. And if you're blessed with a little, you can always give a little. We can always give a little bit more. And so I learned about New Life Mission, and I've got the brochure here. I just want to share it with you guys. New Life Mission is in Brevard County, but I have a feeling this is going to be nationwide and perhaps maybe even worldwide someday. The concept to help somebody in phases, just like when we were kids, our parents taught us different ways. But can you imagine growing up and maybe not having those skills, or maybe something happening in your life where these skills were kind of derailed a bit, and having a community come and swoop you up as a mother with your children and teach you new life skills to turn your life around. And so today we have AnnMarie Britt, and we also have Shannon Stickney. And I am so grateful, because it is our sole purpose in life to give and receive love and knowledge. And I am grateful, like I said, that AnnMarie is development director, and Shannon is a graduate of New Life Missions program. Thank you so much for the two of you for being here to share your journey.
you so much for having us. Thanks so much.
Thank you. So we're going to start with AnnMarie. Thank you so much for being here today. Share a little bit about your background and what led you, or maybe what led you to New Life Mission and the story of New Life Mission.
Yeah, so New Life Mission used to be called Brevard Rescue Mission here in Brevard County. And as you mentioned, Stacia Glavas founded it after she befriended a woman who she didn't realize was homeless and in a situation. And she heard God say to her, be her friend. Don't just give her diapers or money and rescue her. For me, my passion has always been to help others and to serve. I became a foster mom quite a few years ago. And when I did that, a lot of the children that came into my home had experienced homelessness. And I got to see firsthand the trauma of homelessness in my own home that came in as these children came to me. On my journey, I was blessed to adopt two beautiful girls out of the foster care system, but they both did come from homelessness. And my relationship, not just with their mother, their birth mother, but with the other women who I saw losing their children to the system, really was hard on my heart. I just thought they really needed that protection and love and care that wasn't always there for them. There was a lot of different variations and reasons that people go into homelessness, addiction and generational and all kinds of barriers that allow that to happen. But there has to be a way to stop it, I thought. And on the receiving end of receiving children who were coming into my home and now are my daughters, they will learn differently because they are my daughters now, and they will learn to live the way that I have lived. So when I came back to Brevard County, where I'm from here originally, from Merritt Island, and I was so thrilled to see that New Life Mission, Brevard Rescue Mission, had changed its name, and we changed it to New Life Mission to better represent that they were transforming their lives, and to discover there was a development director position, which is my passion, to talk about this outstanding program that did exactly what I had been praying would be around to help women who were experiencing homelessness. And what that is our program is a 4-phase residential family program for single homeless mothers and their children to come into our program anywhere from 6 months to 2 years and to learn the life skills, whether that's parenting, continuing their education, whether that's a GED or some form of an education that they maybe had started at some point and lost along the way, financial coaching through our Dave Ramsey financial coach that comes and teaches that, and to just build them up anywhere from 6 months, like I said, to 2 years with these life skills and time for them to heal, recover from the trauma of homelessness, but also to see how to live self-sufficiently. So that was so exciting to me to see an organization thriving. And so I was blessed to get the opportunity to work here. So that's my journey of how I came to New Life Mission, and to know and befriend women like Shannon who have struggled and yet come to our program and surrender all. You know, it takes a lot to come and say, what I'm doing doesn't work. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how to do it differently. And so to give all that up, to show their credit scores, to take drug tests, to not be in a relationship, to come into our housing, take that time to really focus on themselves and their children, is remarkable that these brave women can do that. And we have over a 90% success rate of our graduates.
And that is amazing. That is amazing. As I was researching your financials, I was researching the things that you guys are doing. Stacia must have had divine intervention or divine wisdom coaching her along the way, or maybe this is her background, but the way she's put this together, it's almost like you're taking adult, and I don't want to say this in a negative way, but adult children, because we're adults, but we have a child within us that sometimes weren't nurtured, and we cultivate whatever behavior we think is acceptable, or whatever we want, or whatever that nurturing that we didn't get from our parents, or maybe we got it from our parents, but sometimes we need to learn a different way. It doesn't make it right or wrong. It's still learning. It's still learning in a different way. And so when you're taking these people in, do you feel that there is a point where you say, they're going to make it, they're not going to make it? Is there an interview process? How do they get selected?
Great questions. We have an intake process that on our website, newlife-mission.org, all the information is there, but there's also an area, apply here. And that is a literal application. It's got multiple questions for the mom to fill out. And there's certain qualifications that we look for when we do that intake process with them, where we meet them. And it's accountability. It's, can you show up on time? Are you ready to surrender? And are you ready to follow the rules? Which is a very difficult thing for young adults in general, to say, I'm going to have a curfew and I'm not going to be in a relationship, and I'm going to open up my whole life to you and let you check my background and my credit score. And more than all of that, it's that moment where we see that they're ready because they're vulnerable. And they're authentic, which may be for the first time in their lives, because homelessness and all of the addictions and things that are trapping them in this world keep them running with inauthentic behavior, right? It's, no, I'm okay, I've got this. No, it's okay, no worries, I'm okay. They're not. And I can say from a personal experience, when you realize that I don't know enough and I need help, real help, that's when the real change happens. You know, when my kids were experiencing trauma, it wasn't enough just to love them. I needed trauma training. I needed to learn how to handle that child within and nurture in a way that may be opposite of what it looks like to parent an atypical child. I need to parent a child that's undergone trauma. And so that's very different. So you have to look at everything upside down and surrender it and say, I am ready to make changes. I am ready to do that. And so we look for women who are ready to do that. And we have them answer a series of questions, all different ways. They come from multiple interviews with us. They have to be able to come. You know, a lot of times they're coming on a bus. They're getting a ride to us. They're finding a way. But there's little accountability checks throughout our process. Okay, come back with your credit score. Okay, now come back with this. And there's little steps along the way that we start to see she's ready. She's reaching back out to us, and she's being authentic and honest. But the road is not linear. So they come in and it can be rocky. It can get hiccupy. There can be setbacks, but we have systems in place where, with our one-on-one case management program, our counselors and therapists that are here at New Life Mission, which are new to us now. We hadn't had them before on staff. We always used people outside. Weekly Bible studies. We're so wrapped by our local churches that walk alongside our women, and we keep everyone accountable and responsible so that they may be coming in on government assistance, but the goal is to walk out these doors as a graduate with a working job with X amount of money in their savings account that we match, and insurance, and off all government assistance. We don't accept that government money as an organization, as a not-for-profit. We're 100% funded by donors and grants from local churches and organizations. So we don't accept the money, and we don't want our students to do that either. So we set them up for full self-sufficiency. And to get their mind wrapped around that, it takes a while, but we work through it.
It's amazing. I mean, when I hear you speaking about your program, this is what parenting should be from day one. We have got to take responsibility for our children and not expect the government or our teachers or the school system to teach our children. We've got to teach them the way that we were trained, or the way that maybe the opposite of what we were trained. Maybe we want some values to be placed in. So I love from the beginning, I love the concept. But in comes a Shannon Stickney, and I'm sure you never expected to be in the situation that you find yourself in. And this isn't about judgment. Our yellow brick road sometimes leads us to different ways. So share a little bit, and thank you for your vulnerability, for being here today as a graduate and a soon to be homeowner. I'm so excited for you. Share a little bit about your background and what led you to New Life Mission.
So I'm Shannon. I came to New Life Mission through addiction and homelessness. I chose to go to rehab when I was pregnant with my youngest son, who's now 3. so during that time and spending in rehab, I didn't have anywhere else to go afterwards. And my case manager gave me a list of numbers, and Brevard Rescue Mission was on that list. So I called, and at that time, this was in August, there was no availability. So I got on the waiting list, and I went to a sober living house for 6 months. And then January 1st, I made a prayer board to just pray on, I get into New Life Mission by March 1st. And I called weekly to make sure that I was still on the waiting list, that I wasn't going anywhere. And then I got a phone call towards the end of February saying that they had availability and would like me to fill out the application and have a face-to-face interview. And I got moved in on March 5th of 2019. And since then, I have, well, now I'm going to be a homeowner, but I've really gained that because it's Christ-based. The program's Christ-based, and going to church and just gaining that relationship with God, and going to church and all the Bible studies and everything, I really totally changed my life around. And, the classes that helped me the most were, the Bible studies and the financial class through Dave Ramsey, and, making that budget and sticking to it and making sure you're saving money. And through this, I was gifted a donated car last year. And since then, I graduated at the end of May. And
from the program or
from
school?
The program.
From the program. Okay.
From the program. I've held a job since about 5 months after I got here. I'm a supervisor in my position now. And I'd say that's probably the longest I've held a job, is almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years at the end of the month. But I'm staying in this program, where I'm working, and hopefully next year, God willing, I'll get my RN license back.
Wonderful.
So
would you like to share your story of how you lost your RN, or do you not want to share that?
So I lost my RN license due to my addiction. And I ended up serving 6 months in jail. And towards that's the reason why my RN license was suspended and then revoked. And I have to wait till 5 years after the end of my sentence to petition the board to get my nursing license back. So that's coming up next year.
Wow. But that's a tough lesson, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I lost everything to my addiction. I lost my home. I lost my family didn't want anything to do with me. And I lost my income, my livelihood. And going through getting sober, I'm back in good graces with my family, and I'm making a living doing what I'm doing right now, but I would love to get my nursing license back.
Sometimes we have to learn one way or the other. Sometimes people can learn through other people's, like right now you're being a teacher, and someone that has an addiction and someone who's willing to risk it all for that addiction, what would you say to them?
You have to be willing to change yourself and have that willpower to do that. But you need to break yourself down to build yourself back up on that firm foundation. And my foundation is based on Jesus Christ, because without that, it's not steady.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
We love to watch our women come and form a relationship with Jesus. And we say this all the time. He's the true transformer. When their lives are transformed, they have started and built their firm foundation on their relationship with God, and
Yeah.
anything after that is looking up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's so important. Again, did you expect what for 3 years, you're really working on yourself. You've been working on changing your life. And one could almost say that having your RN removed or withheld from you was a blessing.
It was a blessing in disguise, because I would have never changed the way I was living. Yeah, I was still in my addiction. I was still, even after jail, I relapsed. And then once December of 17 is when my RN was revoked. And that's when I was like, no, I really got to put my foot down and do this.
That's a tough lesson to learn. So what was, but you know what? You've learned it, right?
I did it. Yep.
I don't know, Shannon, I don't know about you, but I always think there's no mistakes. There's really growth opportunities. And this was an incredible growth opportunity that not only did you experience it, but because you've experienced it, you can now help a population of addicts that you would have never been able to help had you not been caught or not been addicted.
Right.
Does that make sense?
It would have never been on my radar if I wasn't addicted to the drugs.
Yeah. Well,
Shannon's one of our best mentors for our newer women that come into the program. I mean, now that she's a graduate, she's able to do a little bit more freer work with our students that come into the program. But coming from a halfway house, coming from a rehab center, coming from your car, it's hard. We don't accept women in active addiction. They do need to go through rehab first. Also active domestic violence. We try to let them be in a safe house for a little while first before they come to us. But Shannon has done an amazing, remarkable job of holding the hands of new women coming forward. And her favorite thing is to teach the financial class. She loves getting her money saved in that savings account. And we have a match program that she got to participate in when she was in the program before she graduated, and we matched it.
Share a little bit, AnnMarie, about the match program. You've mentioned it a couple of times, and I think it's fabulous. Go ahead and share.
Yeah, so when the women in our program all go through the Dave Ramsey financial planning, we have a coach here, and she does one-on-one with them. They have to keep a budget. They have to put so much money away in their savings account. There's certain parameters around our rules, but once the money has been in their account for a certain amount of time, once they reach, Shannon, is it $1,000 at graduation? Then we match it up to that $1,000.
Yeah.
So they get
50%.
A 50% match.
Yeah.
It's got to have been in their account for a while, and there's certain stipulations around it that they're really saving, working their budget. We have them doing meal planning and all of those life skills that we know make life easier, especially for busy single moms who are working.
Yeah.
But we have all these little nuances like that. You keep up your Bible study. You attend any church service that you'd like weekly. We don't tell them which church to go to, but we partner with amazing churches all throughout Brevard County. So a lot of our women have found a home at one of our local churches, and they attend a weekly church service as well as follow the plan of the program. So their kids get a kids club where they get some Bible study. This last year with COVID, a lot of our kids were home. We had a large group of teenagers, and we had a really great teen Bible study that we were able to put together.
That's wonderful. What a blessing out of that, huh?
We definitely use that time for a blessing. It was a good quality time because it is the Bible studies. It is the relationship. It is the friendships that they make here that make the difference. You know, just like you would turn to your mom and dad when you needed help. And a lot of times that's no longer an option when they come to us. And so we're here to lavishly love on them the way that we know God wants them to be lavishly loved.
When I heard about the program, I said, this is a program I'd like to partner with. And for those of you who are watching today, and by the way, I cannot see if anybody's making comments, Robert, I cannot see that there are any comments. So please let me know if there are any comments, or you guys can text me at 407-373-5959 if you guys have a question, or if you know someone that's in the Brevard County area. Now, this is only in Brevard County, right? Okay.
Correct. We're in Melbourne, Florida, and we have women in our program who have roots to Brevard County. So there are programs in the Apopka or Orlando or surrounding areas, and those women do come back to us here in Brevard County, usually because, like Shannon, they're from here or they were tied here at some point, or that they've started over and Brevard County is their home. So we keep them rooted in the community with employment and jobs and school and therapy and all that right here in the county.
Wonderful, wonderful. So Shannon, what was, when you're in addiction, your world is like open to whatever you want, whenever you want, almost an entitlement, I would say. Yeah. To go from there, and you were calling, you said every week, you were calling from a halfway house or wherever it is that you were, a rehab, you kept calling. What was it that kept calling you to New Life Mission?
I just had this voice say, I need to be here. This is where I need to be. And I knew just in my heart, that was my start over point. If I could just get someplace where I could start over. And that's what I needed. I needed the stability and not be focused on, where am I going to go? What am I going to do? Because I have a newborn baby. There's not many places out there that you can start over. And this is one of those that will help you, will guide you, because you have to do it yourself. You have to want to do it. Yeah. Nobody's going to make you do it. Okay. And you have to have that to where you want to do this and you want to change your life. And then they're there to help you guide you along the way. That's what I really needed. Yeah. Help me get to where I need to be, because I can't do it myself. And I've shown that I couldn't do it myself. I needed somebody just to walk alongside me and get me to where I needed to be.
Very good. So as you go from this open, anything goes, into parameters and structures, and now, I always say the Bible was so freeing to me because it gave me parameters. I know, okay, this is like that line in the sand. Don't cross this line or else what's going to happen next. So was that difficult for you, or was that better for you to have parameters?
With me going through rehab and having that 24/7 where I couldn't even leave the property and stuff, to going to the halfway house, it was like a step-by-step program that I put myself through. So I didn't have, at the halfway house, I had a curfew there. We had to be in by 9, and you already had to do a weekly schedule and everything. So that was coming into this program. It was just another step forward. A little bit more freedom, a little bit, more guidance than what was at the halfway house, because I didn't really have the financial, I didn't have the life skills classes at the halfway house. And with that, that just gave me more to look forward to, being able to, now I'm teaching the financial class and stuff like that. So coming from one that couldn't save a penny to teaching the class.
you had a God. You had a God called addiction. That was your idol. And that's where you spent your money probably, right?
Absolutely.
So now you probably have this abundance of money that's like so good that you have the skills now to learn to save. My husband and I went through Financial Peace University, and I recommend, I've interviewed Dave Ramsey. He's a wonderful man. And I recommend everybody go through Financial Peace University. And if you live in Brevard County, who knows, you might find Shannon as your teacher someday. But so as you're picking up these skills and as you're learning, what was your hardest thing to let go of, that surrender? Because, I was talking about, we've talked about, trusting in God. And we've just finished a study called the 100 Lessons from the Exodus, because, the Israelites had to trust God 100%, not for 3 weeks, but for 40 years. And so we have these lessons. By the way, I'll have to plug it. We have the book of Revelation. There's a 12 disc series with Dr. Lorraine Day, as well as the Exodus, the 100 Lessons from the Exodus. We're working on getting it on DVD, but both are online, so people can see it all over the world online. And so with that, we're learning about trusting in God 100% to provide, which you have been walking this walk. I would say, in my opinion, in my observation, you've been walking this walk of the Israelites. And so with that in mind, what was the toughest thing for you to surrender?
I would say, like, totally leaving the past in the past and not contacting anybody that was in my past. When I was in rehab, I went through my phone and just deleted all the contacts before I even left. Just deleted everything. I didn't want anything to do with anything back then, because that wasn't my life now. I'm changing my life and just letting God lead you, because I haven't done anything without praying about it first. And I knew that when I made that prayer board that I was going to get in there, and it was just a matter of time, because God, you pray, but it's God's timing, and he will put you in that place when you need to be in that place. And that's the same thing with the Habitat House.
Go ahead and share your story there about the Habitat House.
So I filed for Habitat for Humanity in February of last year, and then COVID hit. So they hadn't done they shut down. And in June, when everything was starting to reopen again, they only reopened just to pull my file, and then they closed again.
Oh my goodness. But you know what? The mindset is so powerful. It even says it in the Bible, whatever you think will become, it's like, and you saw yourself at New Life Mission. You saw, you wanted that house and you stayed focused. How different is your mindset today than it was when you first came to New Life Mission?
My mind is just so, like, I'm doing everything that for the Bible. Like, I pray to God all the time. I talk to him. He's my best friend. And it's just totally, and I'm a very nurturing person, like with the RN, and I want to help people help themselves. And like AnnMarie said, I'm mentoring the women here and trying to, let them know that there's other things out there. You have to want this. It's only you that can change yourself, but you want that relationship with God. So a couple of the women that are currently in the program, I've taken to church with me. And one of them recently just gave her life to Christ. So that was very, like, amazing just to watch that change.
Isn't that amazing?
And stuff.
But you mentioned that you're a nurturer, and you help people and you do all these things. But isn't it amazing that somewhere along the way, we aren't taught to take care of ourselves?
Right. Absolutely. And that was one of my downfalls. I cared for everybody else, but I didn't take care of myself.
Mm.
And I let myself go. And going through the last 3 years, I'm taking care of myself and making sure that my son and I are taken care of. And I have an older son too. He's 21
Mhm.
and he has his own family. And
how was this on him? How was this on him, seeing his mother go through this? Was this difficult for him?
Very hard.
Have you been able to mend that relationship?
We're working on it.
Yeah.
We are.
That's great. That's great.
I
You know
saw
what?
2 weeks ago.
With or without the trials that you've gone through, sometimes it's difficult to maintain a relationship with your
Oh,
children.
absolutely.
So
Especially he was a teenager when my drug addiction hit. He was 14, I think. When I was really deep in my drug addiction.
yeah, that'll take time. I think what happens to us is that we forget that it took time to create the mess.
Right.
And then we want it, okay, it's done. No, but there are consequences to everything, and how beautiful that you're taking ownership and responsibility. But the responsibility you're taking is the kind that we talk about in the classroom. It's the empowerment and freedom, because we can blame, shame, fault, or duty everybody in our life for what our problems and our circumstances are.
It's yourself.
That's right. But if we're co-creators with God, right? If God is the creator of all, right? And we create everything in our lives as well with God, then if we created it, we can uncreate it. And that's what you've displayed with your behavior, that yes, maybe it was a mess, but now it's your message, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
Now it's your message. Well, and so with that in mind, I want encourage all of you to go to whenyounneedafriend.com, which is where we take this 100% responsibility. There's even a tab at whenyounneedafriend.com called 100% responsibility. And it's not the responsibility that leads to blame, shame, fault, or duty. It's the one that leads to freedom and empowerment, that gets you to say, I'm not blaming anybody. I am taking ownership. It is what it is. It happened how it happened. And now I am going to recreate what the rest of my life is going to be. And that's what I love about New Life Mission. And so, but go to whenyounneedafriend.com, please subscribe, because as you know, the narrative that we don't speak the narrative. And so we want to encourage you to go to whenyounneedafriend.com, especially for those of you who are sending me letters. They're saying, I'm scared, or I need a friend, or all of that. Go to whenyounneedafriend.com. Please subscribe so that you know what's happening in the classroom, that we could all be together and help support one another, just like New Life Mission does. And while you're there, make sure that you click on all my social media, including Odyssey and BitChute. Please, please, please. We're trying to build that up. And then check out my sponsor, Dr. Jennifer Grameth of Right Way Health and Wellness. And please support her the way that she's supporting the classroom. And all my affiliate sponsors, whenever you go to my Shop Now bag, whenever you purchase something from there, it helps out the classroom. Mm-hmm. And last but not least, you as an enrolled student in the classroom, you can help, whether it's you donate $1 or $1,000 a month. Please figure out ways that you can help with your time, your talent, and your treasure. And speaking of treasure, I want to encourage you to include New Life Mission as a place that you will consider to donate, because there's a lot of stuff happening. And one of the reasons I wanted AnnMarie to come and share, but you can go to newlife-mission.org to figure out ways that you can donate. So speaking of the growth and all the stuff that you guys are doing, I had asked you, how many women are you helping now? And basically what I'm getting is how many women and children you want to help in the future. So again, what you focus on is what you achieve. So tell us about where you are now and where you're planning on going.
God is so incredible. So we've been around 13, almost 14 years here in Brevard County. And with Casa Carol and Joy's Place, we've had 2 apartment complexes that have limited our ability to hold families. They're old studio apartment complexes that have, little apartments, 1 bedroom. And we've been blessed in the last few years to be able to grow to another complex that's allowed us to have cottages, where Shannon is currently living until her Habitat house is finished, which have 2 bedroom, 1 bath. Our board, since the beginning, has had a vision to have 100 families at one time. Our current capacity today is 23 families. And that has grown exponentially in the last 2 years with our purchase of the land that I'm sitting on, that Shannon is sitting on, that has cottages in the back where some of our graduates are now living as they transition. But we found out in May of last year that an enormous, wonderful property that used to be owned by the Children's Home Society, if you all are from Brevard, you remember at the end of Croton Road, the old Hacienda Girls Ranch, has been vacant, and we were blessed enough to have enough donations to purchase that in May of this year. So the vision of being able to house and care for 100 women and their children at one time is in sight. So we are currently on the path to get that up and running. We've had amazing volunteer groups come out and just help us clean up the debris. Nobody's lived there for many years. So that's the first step. We're trying to wrap our hands around this 25-acre property where there's about 7 acres of livable space right now, with group style homes already built on the property that just need renovation. So we are in the process of keeping our operating going. We are a debt-free organization, went into a mortgage for this property with the goal of in 3 years to have that paid off. So all of our donors are helping us keep our operating costs going for the existing women and children that we have on the property, and then renovate in our capital campaign for the New Life Village, as that will be called, which will allow our capacity to be a little bit broader. As I mentioned, we can't take active domestic violence right now just due to some of the security issues. This new property is gated with secure area. We do feel like we're going to be able to expand our services on this property with the amount of women that we take and the type that we take. Who knows what's going to happen? Well, God knows what's going to happen.
That's right. Hey, listen, God is 100 trillion times smarter than we are. Let's leave it in his hands.
Let's leave it in his hands. So we're preparing for what God is building. So he brought that to us. And so we are raising the funds now through our capital campaign. It takes a village to build the New Life Village compound as it is, and everyone will live there. And then the existing buildings will continue to keep and use, whether it's for graduate affordable housing here in Brevard County or transition our women for whatever their current need is. But our goal, our board's original vision of 100 families at a time, we thought that was long off, and God really put that in our sights.
Hey, you're almost a quarter there. So that's wonderful. So I just want to share with all of you the impact. I was looking at your financial statements and the impact that 2020 alone, they allowed 9,917 peaceful nights of sleep and safe home. This is this year's impact, or a 2020 impact. 1,173 hours of life skills, tutoring, job training, 91 hours of sewing. And let me tell you, I went into their, and this is a place where you guys can help. It's called the Transform Shop. And I went into this Transform Shop, and let me tell you, I will never look at a pair of jeans again the same way. They do things with jeans, with denim, that I never thought, go ahead and show, dude, that's a bracelet that they made. That's denim. Go ahead and switch.
Yeah, so we've started a little sewing center to help with healing, and we found a lot of the women, especially before they're working full time or getting their degrees, coming and doing practical work in the shop, even learning to sew a button on their kids' jeans or whatever. But we discovered that if you took recycled denim jeans, which we're getting for free, the women are making them into earrings, and these are bracelets that they were able to roll them into beads. Yeah. Yeah, all purses, bags, keychains, all kinds of
look
things.
at this coasters with
Posters.
you got coasters, placemats. So for those of you who would like a denim anything, well, they have other things, even a wine koozie, like a wine
Yeah.
holder. I mean,
Yeah.
I was just amazed at the talent, the creativity that's coming from New Life Mission. So you can go to their website and see if you can maybe donate, or you can help out in any way, or purchase some of their beautiful items. And I must say, I have to say thank you to let me see, it was Luann. I've got everybody's names here because they were so helpful. So it was Luann, there was Sarah, Rachel. I'm still trying to find all these names. Oh yes, I got it.
I know you met Kamisha.
Kamisha was the one that gave me the tour. Let me tell you, she's like an octopus. She's done so many things. She's like got like 8 arms. And I think Luann, Sarah, Rachel, and Kamisha. I think I got them all that I met while I was there touring the facility. And let me tell you, you can't just dream big, you need to dream bigger. And this is what they're doing. They're dreaming bigger. And that's why we're all teachers and we're all students. It doesn't matter what's happening in your life. Maybe you're in an active situation where it's just looks really, really horrible. But if you just step away from that and stop worshiping the altar of your misery, and you step back and you start looking at the altar of God and what God can do for us, it is amazing how life changes. And so I love the fact that New Life Mission is doing so much for the people in Brevard and the people who will come to here. So if anybody wanted to make a donation, or anybody wanted to call and see if they can donate their time, their talent, where can they call?
We take it all. So on our website, newlife-mission.org, if you go to volunteer, our amazing volunteer coordinator, Karam, comes on in a little video and tells you all the ways that you can work with the women, either in the sewing center, or we love to have families come and do facilities work, painting, cleaning, any of those things. So Karam has the volunteer list there. You can always call our main number, which is 321-480-9100. But donations, like I said, we're 100% funded by donors. We have loyal monthly donors, which are the backbone of our organization, that volunteer or donate monthly to us. $1,200 and up per year is part of our Impact 100. They get to come to an event where they meet, like Shannon was our guest this year at the Impact event. Obviously, we have legacy donations and capital campaign donors, and the website has all the information, or you can call me directly at 480-9100. I'm extension 107, and I would be happy to give anyone a tour. We just love to be in relationship with our donors. We know them. The same as with the women. We love to find out where their heart is and their passion is. And many a times I'm standing in a tour crying with a family member, praying over them with something that's personal to them, because we walk this life together, and our donors and our students are all in relationship with us. Just kind of, that's the blessing of my job, to be able to be that middle person to connect them all.
Yeah. And here's some more facts. 2,530 hours of kids club enrichment. Can you talk about that? Because when I was being toured by Rachel, what I got was, you guys are generational pattern shifters. Like, what happened to you may not happen to your children, because now you're ending the poverty, you're ending the addiction, you're ending the abuse. And so you're learning how to be generational pattern shifters. So let's talk about the Kids Club enrichment.
Kids Club is necessary. Our moms are single moms. And so when they come to us, we help set them up with a daycare. Because obviously our goal is for them to go to school full-time or work full-time, whatever it is that they need in that transition. But when they have life skills and Bible study, they have to have their child cared for. So we have Kids Club, where our kids come together, whether it's in the nursery, in the baby room, that middle age, right before teenage years, kids, and then of course our teenagers and our older kids. And we have amazing volunteers, partners with churches in the organization that take our kids to church clubs and camps and come in here and pour life into our children through their own Bible study, and just through relationship. These children, and this is, as I shared with my girls coming into my life, this is where you see generational change happening. This is where you see the chains being broken of children who have been living in squalor, but they've also been living in transition all the time. You're either in a car to an apartment, to a motel, to a grandma's couch, and it's not been stable. And when they come here and they get a home and their mom is given a key and the mom closes the door. It's one of my favorite stories of when we have a move-in. I was sobbing at a move-in last week when a girl came in and you hand her the key and she looks at you like, this is mine and my daughter, and we close the door and that little girl gets in her bed and that's hers. You hear the kids say little things. This silverware we get to keep? Yes, you keep that silverware. That stays in your house. And I can share with you, with my children, my daughter was 4 when she came to me from homelessness, a camping situation. They were always in transit, living in cars, motels, and camping outside, living in parks. The thing that she could not grasp her mind around was that I had a pantry that never left that spot, that pantry always had food. And I would go to the grocery store and I didn't have to just buy enough food that fit in my arms. I could put it in a cart that could go in the car, that could be driven to the house, that would go in the pantry. I lived decades of my life never comprehending that a child didn't know that there could be a cupboard filled with food that you went to in your home. I would find her opening the cabinet in the day or the night just to see that the cereal was still sitting in the box.
Wow.
And we hear that from our kids that are in our program, that this is my house and my mom's house and we live here and this silverware stays in this drawer and I wash it and I put it back. Because in transient life, that silverware gets thrown away. You don't know where it is. Things are
Can't
lost
get clean.
in transition, can't get clean. So to have that housing unit is always the first step for a family, and to watch them move in is miraculous. But then we have to break down the barriers, right? So now the kids are in our kids club and they're being loved on, but they're also meeting us, learning who our volunteers are, and being poured back into that they can do great things with their life as well. So they're getting those things innately in some way. As their mom is learning, they're learning too. So
Absolutely.
Kids Club is a blessing.
Absolutely. So you guys have had 487 referrals, 1,892 hours of case management. So you can change the physical, but the emotional, that is the most important aspect of it. And how has that affected you, Shannon? The case management, being accountable, working on yourself, no relationship. Is that no relationship for 2-3 years or as long as they're there? Perfect. Because I don't know if you know this, Shannon, and I'm sure you've been told this, but for everybody out there that doesn't know this, if you're in a relationship and you want to grow, like let's say you're not in a relationship and you are in the process of growing, the moment you go into a relationship, you stop focusing on yourself, growth, and you start focusing on the other person. So right. I get that. And I think that that's a great rule. And for those of you who are in a long-term relationship, that doesn't apply to you, but still you need to focus on your growth. So was that difficult for you with not having a relationship?
No, that wasn't, because I was ready to just work on myself.
Yes.
Because I was coming out of a divorce when I went to rehab, and I knew I needed to work on myself and not focus on anybody else.
Yes.
So that wasn't an issue for me.
Yes.
It is hard for other people, though. I can promise you that's a difficult thing.
Yeah.
What do you need? We got 2 minutes before we go. What do you need? What is New Life Mission needs right now?
Currently, our needs are on our website. We have an Amazon wish list that we update all the time. Usually it's diapers, as you can imagine, diapers and wipes and pull-ups.
Diapers and wipes.
That's always a thing that we need. We'd love to have new partners with monthly donors. And again, if you want to come tour, we'll show you around that new village property, or come see Shannon at the Life Transformation Center, as we call it, in the cottages. We always are looking for volunteers as well. So volunteers, donors, partners, and goods. We don't take any furniture and clothes right now. People always ask me that question. Because we're full, but our Amazon wish list always has what we need.
Very good. So AnnMarie Britt and Shannon Stickney, so grateful to the two of you for coming out and talking about this wonderful organization called New Life Mission. You can find them at newlife-mission.org. And there's so many things. So we're going to do a tiny little chat afterwards. But for those of you who are listening on podcast, make sure that you share this video if you're watching, or you reach out to them, because it does take a village, and you guys are proving this, that it does take a village. So I want to thank both of you and New Life Mission for coming in today to share what great things they're doing in our community. So thank you, Shannon.
Thank you.
And thank you, AnnMarie. I really appreciate both of you. And for those of you, there's always hope. There's always hope. Please remember, we'll be right here waiting for you worldwide at whenyounneedafriend.com. This is Lillian McDermott, Shannon, and AnnMarie wishing you love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance. Make it the best day ever. Good job. Good job. Here we go.
The opinions and advice expressed on the Lillian McDermott radio show are intended for the individual callers and guests on the program and are presented to our wider audience solely for general educational purposes. Please act responsibly and consult personally with your own medical, psychological, or nutritional expert before taking any steps to improve your life.
I am so grateful to partner with you guys with New Life Mission. I want to make sure that all of you are aware that that this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning, because there are so many stories. When I was a young girl, I was probably around 10 years old. I was listening to a homily that the pastor was giving, and I don't remember anything other than this. And he was talking, because I love shoes. He was saying, you might be upset that your shoes don't match, or that you don't have new shoes, or that maybe that their shoes have a hole in them. But if you look at your neighbor, they may not have any feet. I heard that at the age of 10. And it brought me to gratitude. I am grateful for whatever it is that I have, even if it's difficult. Maybe the gratitude will come later, but immediately gratitude that it's not worse than it could be. And so what is your gratitude, Shannon, that you can share for today and your life and all the lessons and the gifts that you've received? What is your gratitude? For not being worse.
Yeah, for being here at New Life Mission. I wouldn't be where I am today without anybody, AnnMarie or Amy, just loving me when I didn't love myself, really, and helping me get to where I am. I'm grateful for everything that I have, everything. And,
awesome.
that's what I try to give back as much as I can,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Anything else that you would like to share that perhaps maybe we didn't get to talk about during the podcast?
No, I think we hit everything.
Perfect. What about you, AnnMarie? So thank you so much, Shannon. What about you, AnnMarie?
No, absolutely. Every point was there. That accountability and empowerment piece is what we're all about. And Shannon's story really shows that. She walked through the program in full surrender and relationship with God. And you couldn't ask for more than that. Like I said, not everybody has a path that is, her road was bumpy, but she had, cleared out a lot of it before she got here. And some women come in with much different of a struggle than what Shannon has, but it's all a lot. It's all a lot. And to see her getting a house and doing so well, it's just a blessing for all of us. And it was shown, I think, today.
Well, I have one question that I meant to ask earlier, but I didn't. When you were talking about, like Shannon got a car, it was gifted. Is that like a milestone? When she reaches a certain place, that's when she gets it. The homes, those are homes that they get to live in, but do they get to live in rent free, or do they pay a portion compared to what they're making? How does that work?
So when they come in the program, everything is a step-by-step process, and it just kind of moves you up, right? So we call it more like from a freshman to a senior, so that we understand how they're moving. But sometimes people are going back, just like in grade school. You got to go back a grade to learn something. Shannon didn't go back at any step, which was what I'm saying. Like
I think she got shot out of a cannon, is what I hear. Yeah,
she did. She's a rock star student, but so she had a car and was working really hard. And this is what happens, right? So the housing, when they first come in, everything is gifted to them when they first come in, because of course they're coming in from the street or from a rehab. They have nothing, and we know that. But as they start to work in whatever job, and we also, I didn't touch on this, but we don't have them work in a part-time or a McDonald's or a minimum wage. We want them working in a sustainable career, whatever that looks like for them.
Yeah.
And that could be a CNA, that could be getting their degree, that could be, anything that's moving them up is where we want them. So if they're following that, once there is income, they have a program fee, and that is a percentage based on what they're making.
Yeah,
and then
absolutely.
That's an accountability piece that keeps moving through. Shannon is living in a cottage with rent now that she's going to be getting a Habitat house. So Shannon had a car and needed repair and all the things. She also drove and had her license, which, a lot of our women may not have. So we sometimes get a donor that will call me and say, I have a car I'd like to donate. And sometimes they sit here and we wait until somebody is ready to get that car.
Awesome.
So she needed a car. We had a donor come forward. And Shannon, her car had broken. It was more to fix than repair or whatever. Is that what happened, right? And then we got the car.
So what happened was my car was overheating, and we had replaced everything that needed to be replaced, and it was still overheating, and I was dumping more than what it was worth into it. So I set a meeting with Miss Kim, and on the way to the meeting, I just prayed, because I know Hondas or Toyotas or anything like that are long-term cars. I was like, God, I just need like a little Honda Civic or something like that. And I go into the meeting with Kim, and I was like, so how much can I spend on a car? And she's like, you're not spending anything on it. We just had a Honda Civic donated yesterday.
Awesome.
That's God.
Does that bring you to your knees, huh?
Oh, it does. And
that's
then with
how Shannon's whole been with the house. Yeah.
Also with the house. So me living in Florida my whole life, I know that like the concrete block houses are what you need, really, and stuff. And that's what I wanted. I wanted a concrete block house. So with the Habitat houses, they're all lumber and no garage. It's a carport. So I've been praying since I got accepted, which was on my birthday.
Oh,
yeah. And it's our first relationship with Habitat.
That's
with
wonderful.
New Life Mission with Habitat. Yeah.
That's
So
wonderful.
the acceptance was on my birthday. And then like the rest of the year, I've been praying, let me just, God, give me a concrete block house with a garage. And what was donated was a concrete block house with a garage.
Listen, your mind is so powerful that you're now using it for the good of all. Romans 8, God uses, turns everything all into for the good of all. All things work out for the good of all. And that's the mindset that needs to be captured today from all of us, which
Right.
is if you think it, then you feel it, then it happens.
Right.
But you got to pick up your mat and walk. You just can't wait for
Right.
people to come.
Absolutely.
You've got to, that's right. So I know you guys get the analogy of the crippled man that Jesus asked, what do you want? Do you want to be healed? Yes. Well, Jesus could have just healed him right then and there. No, he said, pick up your mat and walk. That's a command you've got to follow with action. And so good for you. Good for you, because that's how powerful our mind is. And I want to encourage all of you who are watching that want to go to the I Am the Solution workshop, September 17th, 18th, and 19th. Because that's what we learn, is to really harness that powerful mind that we have and use it for the good of all, not for evil and distractions and idleness and all those. So good job being a teacher today. Thank you so much, Shannon. And again, AnnMarie, I'm really grateful that you did reach out to me and that we've been able to do this today, and for you organizing it on your end. So thank you so much. Any final words before we go?
Thank you so much. And to your audience for reaching out and supporting us. We would love to connect.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, everybody. Please share this video. And if you know somebody who could use these words of encouragement, please just tell them how much we think of them, that we wanted this video to be in their hands. So we'll talk to you